Hello, everybody. So it is not the great Grand Slam Pooba leading the charge and telling y'all what's going on, but hey, anything is possible here on Unpopular Review. We had week 2 of NXT Revenge, and we have a lot to talk about. We have the incredible casket match between the only other person to have the very first women's casket match in Miss Tatum Paxley and the challenger in Mariah May Monroe, also known by her other name, which y'all know I refuse to say, as well as our North American match by one Mr. Miles Bourne and Dion Lennox, as well as our finals for our WWE Speed Champions belt. And we have a lot more to talk about tonight. So let's go ahead and get on with the show. And we are live on the air. So you have me, the sensational Sabrina Estella, as my usual cohort would say. But unfortunately, he could not be here tonight. So making his return back to the NXT side of things here at Unpopular Review, joining us from the Friday night show, we have the one and only one who will ever make me give him multiple middle names if he ever says something that the ever living crap out of me. One Mr. Mad Dog Kelly, welcome back. And sorry for
I
my voice
am
sounding like this. I'm working with kids now.
I am great. Thank you for having me back on. This is going to be fun. I'm excited for this. What a show. After the Raw, after WrestleMania, after a couple NXT stars debuted last night. And they were back on
It,
NXT tonight, actually. So it was kind of strange. But it was still cool. And tonight was a very good show. So I'm happy to be back here on NXT. I told you guys on my when I was leaving this show, there was always a possibility of me coming back and helping out and filling in so I'm filling in tonight for Great Grand Slam Pooba, and he'll be back next week. So excited to be here again.
well, they always say in wrestling you can retire, but you'll always find your way back. And there's only very few people who say that they will retire and never come back. But that is what Matt is. He's one who says he had other commitments on another side of Unpopular Review, but he will always come back home over here sometimes. And I will say this, WrestleMania this past weekend was fine. I watched it with some friends. We had a good time. We screamed, we laughed, we enjoyed ourselves. There were moments we were okay with. There were moments we wish we did not happen, but what can you do? And the Raw after WrestleMania was very fun and satisfying to watch, to say the least. So can't go wrong with that. But we have a lot to talk about from tonight. So we start things off with one Dion Lennox versus the NXT North American champion in Miles Bourne for their match for the belt.
Young Randy. They gotta call him by his name. I'm back, so now I get to say Young Randy Orton, who's still dating the Stephanie Vicaire, by the way. Still together.
Listen, she's the one who went after him first, so if anybody's gonna dump her, it ain't gonna be him, that's for sure. Anyways, so we started off with Dion hitting him with a spine buster out of the gate. Did not work out for him. And he puts Miles into the corners and hits him with some shoulder blocks, but Miles comes back to reverse it back and forth. And it's just insanity in all the funnest ways possible, especially with the attempts of the one and only Dark State to try to assure that their boy gets the dub. But unfortunately, he does not. Shaquan does run interference, and Dion does cut him off a couple times, and he gets hit in the ropes, and then he climbs up with them. Dion hits a suplex, and Shaquan keeps going and keeps trying, but at some point, Miles shoves Dion into Shaquan's sugar, hits him with the making him born again, and retains the belt.
Yes, young Randy being young Randy. But honestly, watching this kind of made me realize like how tired I am at Dark State. I don't know if you and Poopa feel the same way. It's just
I've
I
been
feel
tired of
like
Dark
they're
State
getting
since they
so
started
old.
because they're absolutely boring.
Right, right. They're just stale, and I don't know what they need to like spice up. Either just break up the group and have them go as singles, or just do something because I just don't care about Dark State anymore. I used to, and I
I
always used
think
to
you're
call
one
them
of like
Team Shield because of that. But now they feel like nothing. They feel like my family tree, just a boring faction. So. And that's a
well,
lot
you know, I've
because my
always
family tree is my favorite faction, and I'm saying that. So,
well, all I can say is the way it's going, the storyline's gonna get spiced up when Dion eventually either gets kicked out of Dark State or he decides that being with them isn't worth it because
right.
if they ain't getting any gold and their runs are being stale, like we cannot have them as tag champs again for a multitude of reasons. Number one, their run as tag champs was boring and stale. Number two, they
Yes.
always said, oh, we could have a
I agree.
number of options of how we're going to be
Mm-hmm.
in the ring defending the belts. It was always the same
Right.
damn combo. So
Right.
everybody could
Right.
study what y'all were going to do because y'all came out with the exact same pairing.
Mm-hmm.
And number three, y'all are gonna keep fighting. We're trying to get some damn titles. And if one of y'all goes for after a singles belt, and y'all aren't happy that one of y'all is going after a singles belt, then get the hell out, or throw one of y'all out. Because at
Right.
this point, I've been bored since y'all
Yeah.
have won them tag belts, and then I was happy when y'all lost them because y'all bored
Mm-hmm.
the ever living hell out of me. So
I'm
what are
glad
y'all
we're on
gonna
the
do now?
same page because I thought it was crazy, but now I'm not. Now that you're actually saying that back to me, now I know I'm not crazy. So I feel good
You're
about
like
that.
only
Yeah. Yeah.
you were like only of one. You were like on one of only five fans at Dark Stage, and now
Right.
they only have four, which is the same amount of people that are
Mm-hmm.
in it. And with the way things
It's
are
getting
going, it'll get
smaller
better
and
too
smaller.
with the future amount of people that are going to be in it because some way, somehow,
Mm-hmm.
Dion is going to go.
I agree with that. It's getting smaller and smaller, like my family tree. Smaller and smaller.
Right? Let's see what everybody here is saying. So, hi, Jeffrey. He says tonight was very entertaining, which we cannot disagree on that at all. And then we have a loyal friend and ex-member of the show, Patrick. Hi, Patrick. We love you. And then we got one Mr. George Lewis, who unfortunately his number one rival is not on the show tonight, so he will just have to make do and deal with the fact that the great Grand Slam Pooba is not joining us today. I mean, he could, because then he would balance out the fact that I have no voice, considering I was screaming all throughout WrestleMania weekend and I work with little babies now. So I had to use my voice quite a bit. But thank you, Jeffrey. What's up to you
Jeffrey,
too?
hi. Hi there. Hi there, everyone. I see Good Chris is in the chat too. That's Good Chris. There's Good Chris. Hi, Good Chris. Let's see you there.
He says probably Fatal Influence will be on SmackDown this Friday.
Maybe.
Well, since
We didn't see
let's
them
see.
tonight, right? They weren't on tonight, so
Not
maybe they
really.
are.
So it's a
Oh.
possibility that they will be there. Or maybe
Ah.
just JC. Who knows?
I said last week in a comment while you guys were doing the show, I said JC Jane should become the new U.S. Women's Champion. Still holding to that, by the way. I still think she should beat Julia for the belt.
With the way they book some of these stars up there, I have said this before and I will say it again. The way that they book these mid-card champion title runs
Mhm.
for the women have been
Right.
abysmal.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
only
I agree
ones
with
that have
that.
had decent title reigns as
Yeah.
IC champ is Becky Lynch, now that she's the three-time champ because AJ's taking a break. And the one that's had the only most decent US title reign is our inaugural Women's United States champion in Miss
Yeah.
Chelsea Green, who I will
Mm.
defend to the moon and back because I worship the ground that woman walks on, and I said it on the air, and I will not take it back.
Yeah, it's a shame Chelsea got hurt. She could have done big things with that title. Big things.
Absolutely. So good. Chris says night one was trash, night two was better. I agree that night two was a little bit better, especially because some
I
of the
didn't watch
matches were a
night
little
one.
bit longer.
I still haven't seen night one, but I've heard all about it though.
Well, there are a couple of reasons why a couple of the matches were a little shorter. Like, for instance, with Stephanie and Liv, they were both still kind of hurt, so they didn't want to hurt them any worse, which is
I
why their match was
heard.
only about 7 minutes.
I heard a rumor today that they were betting on Nikki Bella to be cleared for the match, and that would change a lot of the card around. And that Paige, which I'm so happy she's back, by the way, I'm not gonna lie, she deserves it. Was a last minute signing. All of a sudden, they just signed her because they needed a replacement for Nikki Bella. So that's what I've heard. I don't know how true that is, but that's yeah, that's what's going
Well, the
around.
rumor that I heard was supposedly Bailey and Lyra were the ones that were supposed to win the belts, but because they
Okay,
had signed
okay.
Paige in, that's why they made the change last minute to have them
Mm.
be champions instead.
I'm happy Paige is back though. I really
As am
thought
I.
she would go. I really thought she was gonna go after Becky. I was like, oh shit, okay, if Becky wins, then Paige is gonna go after that belt. But no, it
No,
doesn't look like
see,
that.
I
Now
mean,
that
they
she's
do
got
have some
belts.
history, but I feel like Paige has had a little more history with Charlotte, which is why they also put her
Mm.
in this match, so they could have that stare down moment.
That's yeah, that could be. That could be.
And I mean, with the way that storyline's going, once Nikki's all healed, once Nikki is healed up, she might turn heel on her Total Diva sisters.
That could be too. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
Shaquan
what else do we
crosses
have right after that match? There was something else, right? With
So after all
those
that,
dudes, right? What are those dudes called? I forget. I don't watch NXT as much anymore.
so I
Because
like
I'm
to
on
call them
SmackDown.
so I like to call them swipe left because they like to
Okay.
act like they're all that and a bag of
Mm.
chips, and they think that they're hot shit when they're
Yeah.
online, but their
Yeah.
tag team name is really swipe right, but as a
Yeah.
trio, they're called the Vanity Project. And they're with
Oh
Miss
yeah.
Miami Monroe, and they're talking about her title and how she's gonna win tonight, and they give her a little pep talk and saying like, "Oh, we can be there for you if you need anything while you're there." And but they've got dates they were on an app on their phone and they got dates. And
Right.
she says, "You guys can go ahead and go party or go on your dates, do what you want. And if I need you, I'll text you."
I have
At
to
least
ask
she's
you,
nice
do you
enough to let
care for
them know.
these guys? Like this Vanity Project guys? Because I just don't care for these guys. Like I know the one can
I
wrestle, that Jackson guy, he can wrestle. I saw
Jackson does.
him live a couple times at an indie show here in Jersey. The dude can go, but the other two, I don't know anything about them. So I'll be honest with you.
Well, I saw him live at a National Wrestling Alliance show in Fort Lauderdale when they were
Oh,
collaborating with
cool. That's cool.
when they were when they were collaborating with an indie company that I've gone to many a time called Coastal Championship Wrestling, where their current heavyweight champion is Gangrel. And I also saw him at a Coastal Championship Wrestling show in Miami when it was a WWE ID match with Jackson Drake and
Oh
Gall
yeah,
versus
that's right. He
Valentina
was
Jones
one of them.
and
I
Jackson
forgot
Carter.
about that. Wow.
And I mean,
Yeah.
that's how he wasn't involved in the first place, is he was a
Okay.
WWID prospect.
That's right. I forgot he was in the ID. That's right. Yeah. Wow. I don't care for him though. I'm not gonna lie. I think he can wrestle out of all the three, but I don't know. I don't like him. I don't
Listen,
care
they're
for
just
the
transitional
group.
tag champs until they can find an actual better tag team to take the belts from them, which is pretty much anybody
True.
else in that locker room.
True.
So after that, we
True.
get some hype for SummerSlam with tickets going on sale. Hopefully, the nosebleeds don't cost $600. But anyways, we have Shaquan Sugars. He runs into Robert Stone, and he begs for another title shot for Dark State. Like, how many title shots do you think y'all are
I
gonna
was
get
just gonna
before
ask
Robert just
you
flat out
that. What
says
are we doing
no?
here? Is somebody pulling the
Y'all are
strings where they
actually
just get title
begging?
shots? Because I don't understand why they just keep getting one after another after another. I mean, do we really have no other
Maybe.
faction on NXT besides them
No,
to get title shots?
no. It's all tag team. Well, the only other faction is
Mhm.
Birthright or Legacy
Okay.
2.0,
Okay.
which is made up Brian Pillman Jr.'s son, Lexis King,
Mhm.
Uriah
Yeah.
Connors, who is Fit Finley's son, Ariana Grace, who is Santina
Yeah.
Morello's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
daughter,
Yeah. They were
Dennis
on
Staggs, who
tonight.
is her
Yeah.
fiance.
Wait, isn't the those creepy dudes with that pretty blonde girl? I forget her name. Aren't they a faction? That with that big dude who's isn't he bald, right? He's the bald dude, right? And
Oh, the
that's the pretty
culling.
blonde who came out who attacked all the vice or whatever. I forget what their
That's the
name.
culling. That's the
That's it.
culling.
Yep. Them.
Yeah, but
Them.
technically, every faction we've listed are all heels.
Okay.
There's no face faction. Anybody that's a face is technically a tag team.
That's crazy. Wow. I didn't realize that. That's crazy.
But after that, we have Tatum Paxley chatting with Shiloh Hill, who admits he was only in uh, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in memory of Andre the Giant because he was in the building and told people he was supposed to be there. So he only went because he said, I'm going to be there. So why not? And
Did you
Tatum
see
is
their
worried.
puppets? Tatum Paxley, I think it was Tony D'Angelo, had these really creepy puppets in Vegas. They were like these life-size dolls. It was like the weirdest thing. I don't know. You can go online, look it up. But it looks so
I
like lifelike and real of like their characters. It looked creepy, honestly, the way they built them. But it was cool at the same time.
Yes, I saw the clip of that during WrestleMania
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah, it
And I
was
thought,
cool.
hey, they those people, whoever made them, wanted to make it for them, so why the hell not?
Yeah.
And anyways, she tells Shiloh she's worried about Vanity Project getting involved in her match. But he tells her, you don't gotta worry about a damn thing. I catfished those losers to go across the street to go meet up with some girls who are never gonna show up. And they
No.
finish
Yeah.
the chat by
Yeah.
talking about Shiloh's match against Ricky next week.
Yeah. I like Shiloh. I think Tatum. It's a little weird for me, but I like that of her. And
Weird is fun.
yeah.
Weird is fun.
This is fun little like the little like pairing we got here with the two of them. I think they work really well together. Shiloh and Tatum. They kind of they gel well. Usually they try and like force it down our throats so much where it doesn't work. But this one actually feels like they're really having fun doing everything, and you can see in their little like segments of like them having like a blast. So and they're like them being like playful with it. I really enjoy it actually. I do enjoy both of their thing. Even though Tatum creeps me out a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Just she's pretty, but she's creepy pretty. So yeah, scary.
Listen, the only person that has to worry about her creepy prettiness outside of being in NXT is her husband and Big Body Holly. Anyways, after
I didn't
that,
know she was married. Wow. Okay. I don't know. It's something new tonight. Huh.
it's been a while. You didn't know that she got married to him?
No.
You're the news guy. You should know all this stuff. But
Hmm.
anyways, we had
I know.
Keanu
I know.
Carter
Young
versus
Randy's still with Stephanie Vaquer. I know that. He hugged
and
her
they
after Mania. He
listen.
was there actually. I saw the Instagram she posted of him of her hugging him after the match. So after she lost the
Listen,
belt to Liv Morgan.
if they were to break up, you know how many men all over the world would be sliding into that woman's DMs to try to have a chance to
Can
go
you
out with her,
imagine?
and 99% of them will have zero chance because it's going to be people
Absolutely.
that she won't be able to respond to because she's not following her accounts like that.
Uh,
But after that, all that, we had Keanu Carver, the Giants of Evolve, now in NXT, versus one Mr. Joe Hendry, and he's brawling into the corner, hitting him with the chops, but Keanu just shoves him away like nothing. And they go back and forth. Keanu beats into him like nothing.
right. This was Joe Henry's final match, right? On NXT. This had to be, right? This had to be. He's done. He's gone, right? They're doing a whole thing on Raw next week for him, I think. So I guess it's sad to see him
Joking.
go, but at
Absolutely.
least we had him there. And he did a lot for NXT. So thank you, Joe Hendry.
That he did. And this was his swan song. And unfortunately, the way that it had to be sung was by Keanu Carver
Mhm.
knocking him out with multiple elbow strikes.
He's kind of like
I
the new
mean,
Oba of like NXT. This guy just like running through everybody, destroying everybody. It kind of reminds me of another Oba Femi. It's just I mean they're booking him a little differently, but they're saying, oh, he's strong, powerful, gonna run through all all the competitors. I could see that. Yeah, yeah. He'll get his day. If Oba just got his mania moment with Brock on Sunday, by the way, which I was still surprised about Brock retiring. But Keon Carver, Keon Carver will get his call up eventually. I can see it, for sure. But yeah, Joe Hendry getting his call up. He's gonna be on Raw next week. Yay! A full
yes,
concert, I believe they said. So yeah, stay tuned for
the
that.
yes, the concert that will be happening, and Corey Graves will be coming in with his earplugs because he's not going to want to hear a single word that comes out of Joe Hendry's mouth as far as singing. But we get a quick little promo package for someone named Lizzie Rain, who informs us that Lizzie Rain in heavy metal will never ever die. So basically, that's the gimmick of it, so to speak.
Do you
Then
know
we get a
anything
little
about
promo.
her wrestling doll
Not
at all?
really.
Because I know nothing. I know nothing.
Nope.
They don't even know who she is, and apparently they're debuting her next week. So that's
Well, we'll learn a
exciting.
little bit more about that. And then we've got a quick little promo video for the documentary about that, about when Mr. Hulk Hogan, who did pass away.
Oh yeah, didn't that drop like yesterday? Right? That dropped like yesterday or dropping tomorrow? Right? That's a big thing. I actually want
I
to
don't know. I don't pay
watch
attention to
that.
anything when it comes to him anymore.
Is he Rain? Her name is
But
Rain, I don't know how you say this.
Rain
Liver
Sky,
Conson. Yeah, I don't know who she is at all, but that's her name. I'm looking it up here. Interesting.
you might have to send it to
Oh,
me so I can
I know
search.
nothing about her. She's 28 years old. Has been in wrestling since 2021. Competed in Europe independent scene and made her way through the EVE Revolution Pro Wrestling. Also was over in the New Japan to compete for the Sendai Girls, whatever that is. I don't know. New Japan. I don't know Japan wrestling, but yeah, so that's Lizzie Rain.
Well, sounds promising. And speaking of
Does
things that
does.
sounded, and speaking of things that sounded promising for a hot second, we had Eli Knight, now known as EK Prosper, and I'm not going to say that name anymore after that because it is not a good name. It is stupid. I am sorry to whoever made that and created, but that name is ridiculous. Versus Lexis King for the WWE Speed Men's Championship Tournament Finals, which, as we all know, lasts for 5 minutes, like some of these
Yes.
men out in the world, calling y'all out. Anyways,
And then they
so
do
right
that
after,
at like a minute, right? They do that Pooba hates. Pooba hates that. He always goes crazy. I remember him always on this show. He's like, yeah, when they do that, he goes, I think, he goes, he's like, I have a fire alarm's going off. I have to run. So
well, I mean, I
shout
can
out to him for
understand
thinking that.
why, because he feels like that messes with the flow of a match, which I can
Right.
understand. I mean, NWA does something very similar with their TV championship, with their TV champions, because they did a match for 6 minutes and 5 seconds exactly. Although the person who held the belt last stopped that to have the match keep going, but that's neither here nor there right now. Anyways, Eli started out with the backslide out of the gates, and he almost got it, but gets an armbar takedown from Lexus and gets a headlock shot off. Eli sends him to the corner, hits him with the drop kick, and Lexus King gets on the floor and uses the rest of Birthright as a shield to block the dive.
So does that mean that I gotta ask? Does that mean, and I do, that we're gonna see Lexus King now on TNA? Because I know a couple of them are TNA guys too. Like Ariana Grace, I think's the TNA women's knockout champion, and then I
Yes,
believe you have Stacks, right? He's also on TNA sometimes with her. So yeah.
probably.
Okay, that would make sense. That would make sense to see Lexus King, but I don't know. I didn't really care for this match. I guess good for Lexus King finally getting a belt, but
Yeah, he
you
gets a
know it's
belt
the
where he only
speed
has to
belt,
wrestle for five
so
minutes.
it has no relevance. The speed belt it has no relevance. I mean, what do we do doing here
Andy,
with this?
when does a when does a belt where you can only have matches for 5 minutes have any relevance? The
It
only thing that
doesn't.
this
There is
reminds me of
none.
is the only thing that this reminds me of is the Heritage Cup, which was the only thing they decided to say from NXT UK for a while, which God knows why. I don't know why.
I mean,
But
look,
anyways,
they went this to Twitter, or whatever it was called, X, Twitter, whatever the hell they call it. Then they took it off of that, and then they did the matches over here on NXT. And now, you know, that they have these, and I just think they're just super boring and super lame, and just I don't. I honestly don't even follow this so-called speed division they have, and I say that lightly, Wrestling Doll, because it's not even a real division. It's just a bunch of NXT superstars fighting for a paper belt, pretty much. That just goes on their record as a paper champion. That's all they are. At least the Evolve title has some relevance.
well, of
Started
course the
watching
Evolve
that more,
title has
by the
relevance.
way.
That's the
So
main.
you know,
Of
started
course,
watching
the
Evolve
Evolve
more.
title has relevance. It's the main title of Evolve. That's the only title they have right now. That's the reason why it has any relevance.
I didn't really
Gotta
care
give
for
props
Evolve
to
till you
Aaron Rook.
guys, until you and Ron started telling me go watch that. So I started watching it on Tubi because it's free, and honestly, they have some pretty good like wrestling over there. It's a pretty good
They
show.
do. They do. Indeed, they do. You gotta give props to everybody that's there, including people like Aaron Rook and Wendy Chu, who are
Right.
the current champions over there.
Mm-hmm.
Props to them. Our first out gay wrestler in WWE history that is not a made character from creative,
Right.
which we all know the sexuality of those like the Velveteen Dream, but unless they talked about it much back then, nobody said a word. And if they did, he was the first one of color. They just didn't make a big deal about it. But anyways, with the use of birthrights, Lexus King becomes our new speed champion. Anyways, you get a video of Vanity Project. They're upset that the girl that does not exist ghosted Jackson Drake. He's upset about it. He's like, I got stood up. She never showed up. I got ghosted. And they start talking basically in that way that like women hating men that internalize it from all the BS that they've been through or that they misconstrue in their head. That I talk like saying like, oh, women are the worst. I'm never gonna date anybody ever again. And even if I do, I'll just treat them like crap basically. And they decide to leave. And a girl that's very tall and very muscular asked Jackson if he got stood up, and it cuts away for now. And that girl
Right.
looks remarkably like Bailey from LFG.
Right. I don't know. I told you earlier I didn't care for Vanity Project. I didn't care for the
Nobody does.
segment. I don't know
Nobody
why
does.
they're pushing these guys so hard. I don't know, maybe because they're just a faction they need to, or just I
They
don't
only have three
know. Like
factions.
right, and I don't care for them. There's nothing besides the one dude I told you. What's that one? Jackson, whatever, right?
Jackson
It's like
Drake.
the only one I care for. He's got style. He's
Oh
got
wait, I'm sorry. Technically, we have four. Wait, let me double check my math, see if I'm doing it correctly. We
Okay.
have Vanity Projects. We have we have Dark States. We have the
Yes.
Culling, and then we
Yes.
have Birthright. So that's four. Four
Right.
factions, and they're
Right.
all heels.
Yeah. That's wild, and that's
Where
the
the hell
state
is
of the
our face
faction.
factions to go against them?
Right. I mean,
What's the creative doing back there?
I don't know. I don't even understand why they're doing this. I don't get. I don't get it.
I
I
mean,
don't.
they figure, here's what I think. They're like, okay, so the Vision is up in the main roster.
Yeah.
They're wannabe pretty boys that nobody gives a damn about and nobody
Right.
likes. So what if we try to do the same thing down here? We
Right.
did it in Evolve with these boys. We're going to bring them over here because they get a reaction out of people.
Right.
That's all I'm going to
Because they're
say.
running out of rubber. I mean, it's not like they don't have the roster space. They do. It's just they don't know what to do with that roster, and that's becoming the issue. That's why they're putting these guys in silly storylines like chat AI bots or whatever the hell it was tonight. I don't even understand that, but yeah.
Well, Shiloh catfish them. But anyways, so we have Shaquan Sugars. He comes up to the rest of Dark City. And he says, I went to Robert Stone and got the rematch. And Dion says he's going to beat Miles for sure in the rematch. And Shaquan says he already tried his best. But Stone said Dion got his opportunity. So Shaquan got himself a North American Championship match. And Leon said he meant to when he said they need to go by any means necessary, right? Dion agrees, and for now, he's going along with it, but we all know it's going to blow up in the end. And then we got a little recap of
Why are
Solo's
these
Raw debut
guys
from last night.
again? Why are these guys getting title shots every single week? If it's not the one, it's the other. I mean,
Because they have no idea
I
what to
don't
do with them.
mind young Randy taking on all these guys because I know at the end of the day he's going to win in every single scenario until he's officially done with Dark State. But yeah, I feel like they should definitely not get title shots so much. I think young Randy should be switching it up with everybody else. Hell, give Lexus King a chance again. I don't know.
No, no, you don't need another one.
Yeah,
Lex has already got
why
one belt
not? Like
that's
he's
not
new
relevant
speed
enough. We don't need one.
champion, title for title, right?
No. Listen, they already did that with Soul. We don't need to do that again.
I know I'm messing with you, but still, I really don't care for Dark taking another title match, but I guess good for them. I maybe we'll see a new champion. I just hope not because I like young Randy. So yeah.
Miles is not going to not be champion for a minute. But anyway, speaking of
Yeah.
those we actually do care about, we have Tatum Paxley versus Mariah May Monroe for the WWE Women's North American Championship in the second ever women's casket match. And we have Mariah May taking off her jacket and her
Blake
veil because
Monroe.
she walked.
I'll correct you there. That's her name, Blake Monroe.
You already
Miss
know I'm
Blake
not calling
Monroe.
her by that. You already know I'm
No,
not calling her
I
that.
know, but since I'm back on, I have to interrupt and say Blake Monroe.
Matthew Bartholomew Kelly. I will say her government name if I want to, and I do not care to use
Bringing
her
the
current
nicknames
WWE
back,
name.
guys. She's bringing the nicknames back. Oh, I missed
I
this.
said I
This
was
is
going
fun.
to. So
I know. Only on this show, though. Only on this show.
yeah, Vinny can't have that gimmick. It's
Yeah,
fine.
oh, I know. I
Anyways,
told him. He was confused by that, by the way. Yeah, I'm glad you explained that to him because he didn't understand that until you told him what that was. Oh, I'm glad. I
hi
see.
guys. Love you, miss you. I watch all clips of the SmackDown Penitentiary because it makes me laugh.
Uh,
But anyways, this match tops the very first one, which of course Tatum was part of. Wendy Chu, our current Evolved champion, was a part of as well because of their storyline. This one blew it out the water. The NXT women's division is showing everybody why it is the best women's division in professional televised wrestling right now.
I agree.
I
I agree right
enjoyed
now with you
every second
completely.
of this match, especially, especially when she did the cemetery drive into the diamond when
That
she
was
countered it.
cool. That
When
was
she
cool
countered
to
the glamour
say,
shot with that.
man. That was cool.
And she kicked Mariah Monroe into the casket and closed it on her, which should result in closing and burying the story.
They brought it, man. I gotta say this too. They stole tonight's show, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, Zola and Saria were great, but damn, this was a great match between the two of them. I mean, yeah, Tatum brought her all, and Mariah with the whole fire extinguisher, and then the whole thing with the dollhouse. Yeah, my eyes were glued to my screen for the whole match. They kept me entertained, and yeah, I wonder where it's gonna go for Tatum from here now that Mariah and her are over. Oh God, see what you made me do, Blake and her are over. See what you make me do, wrestling doll.
Yeah, I
You
did.
make
I
me
got you
screw it
the
up
flub.
here. God
I
damn.
got you the flub.
God
I
damn
got
it.
you to use the
Okay.
government name.
No, now that her and Blake are officially over, I wonder what's going to be next for Tatum. Especially if Fatal Influence is moving up, then what does that leave her? Does Zarya
They'll
go
figure that
after
out.
that belt now? I mean, we know Zarya's most likely staying in NXT. Soul's moving up, but Zarya's going to stay. I mean, look, I think Zarya's going to get a call up soon, probably before SummerSlam, but I don't think, you can call both of them up right now. So, but great match though, man. Wow, these two girls brought everything. And literally a dollhouse down. They literally brought the dollhouse down. Get it? The dollhouse. They had a dollhouse. Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, anyways, after all that's done, back at where Swipe Right were, we have Jackson Drake chatting with the girl who asked if he got stood up and all that. And she talks about having been a mortuary assistant and her hands having touched all kinds of dead bodies, which from me saying that, y'all figure it's the people that work at the funeral homes. And he admits she's interesting and he's glad to have been stood up. And he shows her the profile of the woman who stood her up, and she says, "Oh, you didn't get stood up. You got catfish. That's not real. That's AI." But she does suggest that there is no reason to ruin a good night and that they should go out to dinner. And your little friends can come too. And they're trying to get him to leave, to not go with her because she's not the normal kind of girl that they would go for, which is like a skinny white girl with big boobs and an ass and fake and plastic surgery all over because they don't want any substance. They want vanity and plastic.
Hold on,
But
wrestling doll. I got hashtag Jeffrey's thing. I remember this, and I really
that I
thought,
I made the
and he's
reference. I
right.
said that it looked like Bailey. I told
And
you.
she looked familiar. And I was watching this wrestling doll. I'm like, why the hell does she look so familiar? And then I go on Twitter and everyone's like, it's Bailey Humphries from LFG. And I look her up and I'm like, holy shit, it is. So yeah, wow, it's cool they're using her. She's getting screen time. I like that. And she was a runner up or whatever. She wasn't even like the one of the winners, I don't think. And she's on NXT, so that's pretty cool. I gotta say, that's pretty cool.
Listen, sometimes even when you don't win a reality competition, you still win because sometimes you wind up doing stuff that gets you more attention than the people who actually won.
Well, I found out, but this is fun facts with Mad Dog. I've been doing this a lot in all the shows recently, that they're actually all contracted for WWE, and they just put these guys on LFG. I found out, but most of them are contracted with NXT, so that's why Cutler J got pulled off to go to Dark State, and that's why Bailey Humphries is on now, and yeah, there's a lot of them. I think there's another one, who I think is Danny Ray or whatever her name is, is Sky Ray now or whatever her name is. She's, also one of them, who I don't think won, and she got, but they're all contracted. So some of them get chosen to go on LFG, and then when they need them, like Cutler, for example, they'll pull them off LFG to go need them for NXT because they're all contracted. So yeah, it's kind of a fun fact I didn't even know till I found out Cutler was pulled from the show to go with Dark State. which
Yeah,
I
they
don't
pulled
think
him
he's
from
even
the
with
show
anymore. I don't even know. He might be. I don't know. I don't care for Dark State.
Well, they pulled him off the show, but it's not doing him any favors.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah. Yep.
she says there's like I said, no reason to ruin a good night. We should go out to eat, and we can invite your friends. Swipe right, the shallow, narcissistic, vanity-obsessed assholes they are. Try to tell Jackson it's not worth it. Don't do it. He's not our type. Blah blah blah. He says, "Nope, I'm gonna go." And she shoved somebody a little too hard on their way out. And Jackson does give a this better not awaken anything in me look like a type thing. So it was nice to see that at least one of them was totally shallow. Preferred substance over appearance.
Yeah, I thought this was good. This is really like becoming like some of the I don't know. It's becoming more. It's more entertaining than SmackDown, honestly. Especially what we got going on here. With just all of that. So yeah, I liked it a lot.
So anyways, after that we get our our campeón cubana in Lola Vice making her entrance and getting on the mic. And she says she showed us all exactly the kind of champion she's going to be. She did say that JC elevated the title and completely reinvented herself as a WWE superstar, someone who most of y'all overlooked when Toxic Attraction was a thing. I didn't. I can say that. Matt is known of her for a very long time because why? You can say it, Ron's not on the air and he won't yell at you for it. Why do you know of JC so long?
What I don't know what you just said there, but I do know that Lola Vice
I
is
was
going to
asking,
be an
I have,
amazing women's champion. I know that for a fact. And I'm so happy for you because I know you've always been the biggest fan of her. And I told you when I was on the show that I always was pulling for her to become champion. And the fact that she is a double champion is so cool right now, honestly.
well, I
And,
mean, I was saying
and I
that,
think she's just smoking hot, to be honest with you, too. She is so pretty and she deserves to be champion. She's got the moves, she's got the looks, and yeah, I just, yeah, I think she's great. But there's a lot of women want to go up against her, and I'm excited to see a lot of them. Excited to see a lot of these feuds. So, yeah.
well, first of all, I was saying that how Lola had said that JC had elevated the title and reinvented herself as a superstar. And I had said that from her being overlooked by a lot of people that watch the product, of being overlooked in Toxic Attraction to myself, knowing from the get-go, seeing her that she would be a success. And you have known a JC for so long because why?
No,
It's
you're gonna
okay,
have to
Ron's not
tell
going to
me.
kill you. Didn't you go to school with the girl?
I mean,
You mentioned it on the air multiple times, Matt. You can say it now. Ron's not going to kill you.
Yeah, I know, but it's been a while, so I kind of forget. SmackDown's usually in my brain.
Oh,
While
that's
watching,
like,
Pat
I'm sorry.
McAfee and Randy Orton, do
Hold the
silly shit on
phone.
SmackDown every week.
How about you
Yeah,
forget that
but
you
that's
went to
over.
high school with someone who winds up becoming a WWE superstar who becomes the only fourth
I don't like
ever?
to brag. I don't like to
You
brag
did,
that I
but you
did,
did.
especially since Puba's not here. But since you
You can
brought
do
it
it all you
up,
when he's not here.
I did go to high school with JC Jane. You are correct. A three-time, I think it's, yeah, three-time NXT Women's Champion who probably
She's
will get the United States Champion. Okay, okay. I thought it
no,
was
she's
twice.
the no.
Um,
She's the fourth.
anyway,
She's the
um,
fourth two-time NXT champion,
okay,
but the
okay,
very first
my bad. Jumping
NXT
ahead.
TNA
She'll
knockout.
probably be the next United States champion, hopefully, women's champion, and I'm excited for that. But no, Jeffrey, I don't brag about knowing JC Jane. None of that. No,
I
no, no.
would. I would.
I don't do that. But I did go to high school with her. Thank you for bringing it up again. I appreciate that. And yes, Lola Vice and her and JC had some great matches together. But it's Lola's time, and it's time for JC to go to the main roster and become the next U.S. women's title holder or champion, as I say. Fun fact:
Yes,
she's my
indeed.
U.S. title champion in my GM mode. By the way, there's a fun fact with Mad Dog there. So there you go, JC Jane.
So, anyways, Lola does say the hardest part of being champion isn't winning it, it's keeping it, and she sees all eyes on her in the locker room. This division is full of women hungry and ready for their shots. They're not competition, they're threats, and they all want their title. And she likes that, and she gets why. Holding the title could mean being a WrestleMania main eventer one day, and it's the most important title to hold as a woman proving herself in the WWE.
It really
WWE was
is.
champion in
It really
NXT.
is.
She respects and understands it, but she wants to make something very clear. You don't just walk into Vice City and step up to the champion. You're stepping into a fight, and you won't just take what's hers. You can try, but it'll get you knocked out and danced on. Izzy Dame comes in with the culling, aka another one of the most boring factions in WWE history.
Oh yeah,
She
and the
says
one
it's
dude's bald. I know that the one dude is bald. That's all I
that's so
know.
you disrespecting the artist formerly known as Ty Dillinger, who now goes by Sean Spears in WWE as well as AEW, the chairman.
I guess I don't know. I don't care for these guys. They're all boring to me.
Anyways,
Wrestling doll. They are. They got no. They
anyways,
got no. Like
well, I'm gonna
here, like for example, I'll give you, at least Tommaso Ciampa over in the other company, right? He's bald, and look what he's doing. Elevating the TNT division right now. It's true. It's true.
anyways, Iz, Izzy says it's interesting she's talking like she's cleared out the whole division after one defense, but she wants to circle back to what's important. Her, I love how she calls herself important, but she's about as entertaining as a creative wrestler on WWE 2K. Anyways,
Right.
she asks if Lola's starting to feel the shift. The looks are sharper, the whispers louder, and Lola's an emotional woman who has to prove herself every time she gets in the ring, and that works until it doesn't. Listen, of course, Lola's an emotional woman. She's a Latina woman. Us Latina women, we get emotional when we want to be. And Cuban Latina women, you better watch out. You don't want to make us mad because we will fight fire with fire, and the fire can sometimes be our fists or our words. Anyways, Izzy's watching, she's learning, and she's waiting for the moment Lola makes a mistake, and she will make a mistake, and she will tear her apart. She wants her to feel everything, and when it's over and Izzy is NXT Women's Champion, she will thank her for it. Lola laughs her off and says that all that studying and waiting just sounds like hesitation. So she hopes she waits for the right moment because when she does, your ass is already going to be grass. Izzy says she's going to learn that the culling. Izzy says that Lola's going to learn the culling is always two steps ahead, and that's why she's going to be champion. Nico and Sean circle Lola. Then Nico yanks at one of the belts tucked into her shorts and distracts her enough for Lola to drop her. Oh, for Izzy to drop her with the big old boot and pose with the title.
Why? I have to ask you. You follow women's wrestling. I know you
Oh,
do. I know you
absolutely.
follow
So I
it
watch Indiana.
very, very, closely. And I have to ask you, why is Lola Vice, and I really shouldn't need to, but going to anyway, because, entertainment purposes, right? Why is Lola Vice, this whole NXT women's locker room, this whole NXT better than the two main champions we just got crowned over the weekend at WrestleMania? We just got Rhea Ripley, who's over as hell. I know that, exciting, whatever. She's doing their little, tag team with Io Sky, whatever. And then we got Liv Morgan, who just became champion and fights Sol Ruka in a non-title match, and it was not the greatest match, but Liv sold for Sol, and that was that. But why does this feel like it's the best? Why does Lola feel? Why do I feel like Lola's right, and the NXT Women's Division is really like the main division right now? Am I crazy? Maybe I'm not. I don't know.
because the NXT Women's Division has been the best division in WWE for the past 2 years now.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that because look what's happening on the main roster with the Becky just like you said, Becky just became champion again. Rhea became champion, and then Liv Morgan becoming champion, and Lola Vice being a double champion, which is cool as hell, by the way. Just seems like the best. It seems like this is the best story. It seems like her and Izzy might be the next feud. So yeah, I'm interested for sure.
Well, her and Izzy are going to be the next feud, and she's one of the
I'm
few
excited for it.
NXT Women's Champions that actually has held two belts.
Where's my phone?
So anybody that ever likes to talk about that, just know you got to take Mandy Rose out of the picture because she didn't hold both those belts.
Yeah,
They unified those titles.
mhm. That's right. I
And
forgot
every
about
time
that.
she sees posts about that and defends that, I'm like, girl, you held both titles for 5 minutes and then they said the belts are unified. You're not a double
Yeah.
champion with that.
I thought they can't do that with AAA. Maybe they can, but I thought it was its own company or whatever. I mean, it's owned by
It is its own
WWE, but I thought it
company. They're
was its
not
own
going to do that.
entity. Um,
Triple A is its own company. Even
okay.
though TKO bought it, it's still its
Oh,
own company.
okay.
But
I didn't know that.
first,
Okay.
First Ritter being interviewed backstage, or Legacy 2.0 for people that want to reference. Lexus says he is the fastest man alive. Yeah, don't say that because that's not always a good thing, sweetie. And he says, finally, NXT has a champion that was born to do this, and they're not going to stop until each and every one of them has a belt. Sweetie, you're only saying that now because you were in AEW with your former tag partner as part of the Varsity Blondes with Julia Hart and Griff Garrison, and y'all didn't win tag belts or anything over there. So you're just saying that because they didn't do nothing for you over there. But anyways, Eli rose up
Oh
and
yeah,
says they need
that's
to run
right.
it
He
back.
was in the other company, and then they kicked him out. That's right.
Listen,
Now
we're not in
he's
that era.
now he's a
We're
paper
not going to
champion.
do that.
Forgot about that.
We're not going to do that where we block saying the other company's name anywhere because we don't need to do that anymore. This is 2026. They make references to it all the time now. Both companies do. Anyways,
Hey man, you
Eli
want to
rolls up.
say AEW, go for it. But I'm gonna call them the other company because that's what they are. They're the other company.
I say AW, I say TNA, I say NWA, I say MLW, I say
TNA's
New
allowed,
Japan.
man. TNA works with WWE. You got like 5 TNA
Well, I
people in this segment, so yeah.
I
Right?
said it
Yeah.
before that, before they were collaborating. Anyways,
Isn't
go ahead.
the one girl, right? Isn't her dad like the owner of like TNA or whatever, right? The president, whatever. Not the
No,
president, but like the
Ariana Grace,
yeah.
aka Santina Marilla's daughter, is
That's
the
it.
director of authority over there.
That's it. That's it. That's it. See, I know my TNA. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
But Eli rose up and said they need to run it back because Lexus wouldn't have won if he didn't have the rest of Birthright with him. And Dorian Van Duh rolled up and books himself and Eli a tag match against any two members of Birthright who want to step up. And Ariana accepts it for next week, but they have to go and celebrate. And then get a quick little hype reel for LFG season 3.
Okay, cool. I guess. Tag matches are fun. We'll see how it goes.
Listen, I saw Eli Knights as a tag wrestler, first at
Hmm.
GCW and then at a few other indie shows. So
Hmm.
I have seen his work as a tag wrestler with his former tag partner named Malik City when they were known as Culture Inc., telling the people to stay woke. So y'all got something very fun to see because we got a sneak peek of that during the kickoff for Stand and Deliver. So we're gonna see how well he does next week. I have a slight bias. I've seen him in person. I've said hi. I've talked to him a few times. I know him. So, of course, I'm going to share my love for him. Anyways, we get some quick little recaps of the referee stoppage win for Keanu over Joe Hendry, as well as Tatum beating Ryan Monroe in the casket match. We get an NXT Chronicles video for Miss Kendall Gray. We get Lola meeting with Robert Stone about possible contenders for her for a title shot when there is a crash in the distance, and the general manager goes to investigate. And we see Ricky Saints beating the absolute bloody hell out of Shiloh Hill, and Robert Stone tells him to back off and calls for a doctor.
I want to know why did this happen. I would love to
Because last
know
because
what
last week
Ricky Saints was just beating up Shiloh. I don't know why they're doing that, but yeah,
because
okay, all right.
because last week during Ethan and Miles's match, Ricky was hiding under the ring and Shiloh interfered by pulling him
Oh
out of
yeah,
the
yeah,
title
yeah. I
angle.
think I remember that now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. Interesting because remember that Jackson guy you talked about earlier said that Shiloh Hill was behind his setup. Oh, keep that in
Well,
mind too.
Shiloh Hill is known to be a little tech savvy here and there, but we do
I
get
don't
Robert
believe
Stone.
that, but that's what he said. So keep that in mind too. He could be going into two feuds right now, but happy for him.
But we
Should
do
be
get Robert
interesting. Him and
Stone.
Ricky, honestly, should be a good feud. Hopefully.
We shall see. Robert Stone shrugs off an interview, runs over to talk to Tony D, saying he has to think over some stuff, but he knows who Tony's next challenger is by next week. And Tony D gets given a box with a Chinese character on it. Keanu rolls
Mm.
up and denies that he's the one that sent that to Tony D, but it's the character for War, the Chinese character for War, and this place is filled with sharks, and they're circling the champion right now. And Tony D should know because he was one of those people once upon a time ago.
So let me get this straight. They're going to be. It's going. I mean, I have to say, right, with this whole thing, I'm a little confused, but I think it's going to be Tony and Keanu going forward, right? That's how it looks like this is how they're going to go for the. He wants to go after the NXT championship. Um, right? I could
Everybody
be
wants to
wrong,
go
but
after
that
the
seems
championship, but it'll be like Tony D trying to figure out who sent him this thing.
right.
And And so he's just gonna fight him in the meantime just to prove that it's not him.
I have to say, Tony deserves this, obviously. And I personally feel like Tony D'Angelo deserves a lengthy title reign. I hope we get it. It's just, I don't know if we're going to because there's been rumors for 3 years now, wrestling doll, 3 years of him getting called up to the main roster. Oh, it's after Mania. Tony's getting called up. Oh, it's after Mania. Tony's getting called. Oh, Tony's getting called up. They call him up once with Stacks, I think it was on SmackDown, if I'm not mistaken, and nothing happened. So then they put him back down in NXT. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm glad he's champion now, and I hope it's a lengthy title run. Because honestly, I think it's gonna be this title run's probably gonna be his only and his last because I think he will get called up eventually. So yeah. Probably maybe after SummerSlam. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, maybe he does get called up around that time. Maybe he gets called later. But
Yeah.
anyways, we have our main event of the evening. Sol Ruka versus Zarya in a last woman standing match.
I
We have
cried. I
seen,
cried. I blew tears. I blew into a tissue. It's emotional. Emotional.
yeah, wrestling will do that to you sometimes. So this match wasn't I enjoyed the match. It was a fun time. The women are killing it. And like Jeffrey said, the NXT Women's Division is the best, the more entertaining parts, more than the men. And tonight, we had two women's matches, and they proved that they were better than every men's match that happened on the card tonight.
I
Sol and
agree with
Zarya
that.
had
Yeah. Yeah.
Sol and Zarya had great chemistry, working together against each other. This match was insane. They even had to do the part where they spear through the wall that always gets broken in the room every time there's a match like that happening. But it wasn't Zarya that spirit soul through them like people would have automatically predicted. No, no, it was the other way around. Zarya got speared by Soul, who basically was living her inner rocket power with
That
what
was
she was
so
wearing.
cool.
With, if anybody knows that reference, I'm referencing the 90s cartoon of the kids that would always go out and play sports with the only girl character in the main group, which was Reggie Rocket, who always had on her green cargo pants. So that's why I make that reference. But this match was absolutely amazing. And we do get Zarya giving Soul a fireman's carry while they're fighting on the barricade. She gives her an F5 and it goes to the announcer desk. And they just keep going. We get a Soul Snatcher on the balcony.
That was
And
scary. That was a very scary moment. I didn't know what was going to happen there.
the scarier moment for me was when they have a moment, they get emotional and laugh and hug, and then Zarya's eyes get so cold. She sub shoved Soul off the balcony through the tables. The referee makes the count, and Zarya won when Soul couldn't get up at the count of 10, which that was her
I'm,
swan song, and now she'll be on Raw.
I'm telling you, what a great way to end their feud. They hugged each other. That's when I cried and blowed into a tissue because I got emotional.
But the hug
And
wasn't real.
yeah, this was just incredible match by both of them, and just the way they hugged, and just they knew it's like, oh, we've been friends forever. I know you're going to the main roster doing bigger and brighter things, and yeah, one day Zarya's going to be on the main roster too. So yeah, I'm excited to see when that happens to renew this rivalry. But right now, the door is shut, and it's kind of crazy that it ends this way. It's a bittersweet moment, but also it's like a surreal moment because you didn't think was going to happen, and then it just happened. Kind of cool actually the way they ended it here tonight. So yeah.
Yep, indeed it was. It was a good way to end the show. We started fairly decently, but the women just made the show even better, and the second half of that swipe right storyline was the funnier part of the night for me. Any moments you particularly enjoyed, Mr. Mad Dog?
Yes, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me on tonight. I'm glad I got to fill in for Great Grand Slam Pooba. And yeah, before we get off, I believe you have something you want to talk about, or do you want me to talk about our shows first, and then you could talk about what you want to talk about? And I
Well,
want,
I
I don't
can bring
know.
it up just real quickly. So, anyways, you can always follow my YouTube channel, The Unofficial Camera Woman, where I go throughout Central Florida and occasionally South to record wrestling matches and put them up
Pick up part the right
online
way.
for the world to see.
Oh,
And you never know when I'll make an appearance on an indie show. I'll put the videos up. Sometimes they'll be up right away. Sometimes they'll take a little time because sometimes the companies, like wrestling fans, are fickle and don't want stuff out right away. But then not everybody can see the product as soon as they want because you either wait 3 to 6 months to put it up or you don't put them up at all. And that's why I'm in the picture.
right. And we here at Unpopular Review Wrestling have a ton of shows I want to run down. Please go check out our channel, guys. It's great. I actually am a subscriber, and I hit the bell notification, which make sure you do for us, by the way. Anyway, on Monday nights, we have the Rated R review show, or the Raw review show. I don't know what the hell they're calling themselves these days. Hosted by Z and EC, the executive consultant. Please check them out. On Tuesdays, we have the Great Wrestling Doll over actually here. There we go. And usually the Great Grand Slam Pooba. I used to be part of the show back in the day, excuse me there, back in the day, but now I'm part of a different show. I'll get to that in a minute. On Wednesdays, tomorrow night, please check Cactus Katie with the Returning the Sheriff. She's back on All Elite Heat podcast. They'll be breaking down Dynamite tomorrow night after Dynamite around 10:15, 10:30, or whenever TBS decides to end AEW because they always go over 20 minutes. And then on Fridays, right after SmackDown, you can catch myself with the venomous Vincent, by the way, for the SmackDown Showdown. It's the SmackDown After Mania. We will be there. I can't wait for it. JCJ might show up. It's going to be a great 3-hour SmackDown. I'm not really looking forward to all those commercials, but at least we're getting the SmackDown After Mania, and there's going to be a lot of call-ups, a lot of craziness, and hopefully a lot of good matches, and possibly Punk and Cody. So stay tuned for that. But that's all we have here on the Unpopular Review Wrestling channel. Yes, channel. Yeah.
Well, we thank everybody for joining us, and we thank everybody that stuck around, who stuck around. Thank you for showing all love for everybody here on not just this show, but on every show we have here, especially those that have been there from the get-go, from the very beginning of the product. We thank you, we love you all, and good night.